You know, generally when the FBI is looking into something or alerts you that it's looking into something, you worry. And if you're Hillary Clinton, you really worry because it's just the latest bad news for a campaign that has been floundering of late. Not only is she running now almost statistically even with Bernie Sanders in New Hampshire, but revelations that the FBI isn't only investigating those Hillary emails from her days as Secretary of State, but what else might be on that private server of hers. Charlie Gasparino has been looking into that and the fallout from all of that. What are you learning, Charlie?
Well, I'm learning this, that if, you know, there's a lot of nervous Hillary Clinton backers now on Wall Street, and that's where a lot of her money comes from. And you know what's interesting? If you look at the Wall Street money, and this is how you know they'll cut and run when they have to, it's evenly divided between her and Jeb, kind of. I mean, there's a lot.
Right.
Like, if you look at some place like Goldman Sachs, many Goldman partners are given to Hillary, many given to Jeb. They're obviously hedging their bets. But, you know these guys are fickle. And the minute that it looks like she's really vulnerable,
and they do cover their bases,
yeah.
right? You know, John Tyson at Tyson Foods, he's given almost evenly to both.
Right.
David Stevens, you know, big, you know, in the Manufacturing Association, they've even to both candidates. So they just, that's not unusual, but the fact that they are not going all in.
Right.
Says something.
And you know what? And it also says something about that New York Times article that was much disputed by the Clinton campaign. That, you know, whether it was a criminal referral, whether it was, you know, what type of referral, what they were investigating,
whether they dialed it back,
her emails or her. I mean, the reality is, if it's her emails that have been referred. Maybe not her, she wasn't referred, but her emails have been referred to the Justice Department's criminal authorities. Well, then that's a problem for her. Now, maybe the Times didn't get the exact language.
And who did it to refer it?
Well, the Inspector General did.
I understand, but would there be sort of a back way to say that the White House was interested in seeing this proceed?
Maybe. I mean, there's all sorts of conspiracy theories that the Obama administration wants, you know, Bernie Sanders to be the president of the United States or Joe Biden. Right. But I'm just saying that, you know, that story was solid in more ways than it was not solid, no matter what's going on.
It is adding up. These negatives are adding up. We're going to get to this in a second, but this concern that now she has to worry. It's still very early, but we've seen a 60-point lead in New Hampshire evaporate.
Yeah.
And you wonder how she gets back in control.
Yeah, and you know what else has got to be worrisome to her big money donors? That their names are going to be plastered in the papers for the next 6 months. I mean, if Larry Fink at BlackRock comes out and gives a major contribution, or holds a fundraiser for her, that's going to be a story. I know he probably doesn't want that out there because he's got plenty of clients that don't want to know he's associated with Hillary Clinton. Then it's going to come out that Larry has Cheryl Mills on his board, her confidant. Then it's going to come out that Cheryl Mills is on the board of the Clinton Foundation, which is very controversial. And I think that's the problem that she has. She's now, it's kind of like blood in the water. All her business ties are going to be exposed. And, you know, these are generally businessmen that don't want to be exposed in this way.
Do they really think they wouldn't be?
I think they would.
A campaign like this?
I don't think they realized it would be
the degree to which,
the degree to which.
Stay there, Charlie. Okay. I want to bring in Jackie Kucinich, a Daily Beast senior politics editor. And, Jackie, we were mentioning about all of these Wall Street or corporate titans who are hedging their bets and trying to make sure that they cover their bases. And they give to Hillary and they give to Jeb Bush, but they're prepared. Now, that's assuming that they've made the right choice and that one or the other gets the nomination, ultimately the presidency. That might not happen, but what do you make of just that, the way they're playing this?
Yeah, they are hedging their bets. And, you know, I talked to the Campaign Legal Center about this yesterday here in Washington. And one of the things they told me is that this is common among a small group of people, particularly Wall Street. We saw a lot of these, of the 17 donors in our analysis that gave to both heavily. They're largely from Wall Street. They are businessmen, and they are businessmen before they are Democrats and Republicans.
Hello.
They're to look out for their interests before they look out for the party. So yeah, I think if one of these two don't make it, that money's going to go elsewhere.
What do you
so
mean?
You know, it pays not to take sides.
I would just say this: in the past, like 3 election cycles ago, you know, they didn't take sides. They split it pretty evenly. But when Barack Obama ran in 2008. Wall Street and big money donors went heavily to Obama, heavily. They didn't split it that much. Last election cycle with Romney, they didn't split it that much, okay? They went heavily to Romney when it was Romney versus Obama. It's this election cycle which it looks like we have the split, at least initially. And my only point is, if she keeps imploding, that Wall Street money will flow to a Republican, and would be a Republican like Jeb or Kasich or someone like that, that most of the Wall Street thinks thinks is more
Interesting.
moderate.
You know, I'm interested, Jackie. Do you think her rhetoric, Jackie, has hurt her? In other words, now we're told quietly on the side, tells a lot of these guys or people do, look, she's not as virulent on this as she sounds, but they are getting tired of being made the boogeyman and tired of being made the fat cats who have just gotten to this point with, by nefarious means, and they don't like that language, and they've had it. What do you think of that?
I think they have some pretty thick-skinned, and we're not skins at this point.
No,
it's like
don't.
lobbyists here,
Or they're just phony. They're just phony.
But you're not seeing it reflected. You're not seeing her get any less money from Wall Street, which is where you would start to see those feelings get hurt. So maybe behind the scenes they're talking about that, but they're still giving her.
My point is this: if Hillary Clinton, as a lot of people expect her to be the next president, was if the smartest guys, and these Wall Street guys are smart when it comes to money, if they really thought she was going to be the next president,
they have no soul. They pass a mirror. They don't see any reflection.
That's what I love about them.
Right.
Soulless, heartless.
Sure, absolutely.
You need a metal spike to put through their heart.
Who better to cover them than someone like you?
Someone like me.
Also
soulless,
soul. Right.
Soulless and heartless.
Exactly.
But if they really thought that Hillary was going to win, they wouldn't split it. And that's what right now, what you're seeing on Wall Street and among big money.
Well, but it's still early. They could start moving.
I know, but they think she's vulnerable, and that's why they're splitting.
Jackie, are you getting a read from the folks you talk to that she's vulnerable and this is a panic sign?
No one was really talking about vulnerability, but there were people that donated in 2008 that decided not to donate this year, and they set this cycle. And one of them told me that one of the reasons that he's no longer on board with Hillary is because of the Democratic Party's position on foreign policy, things like Iran. And now this donor gave $25,000 to Jeb's super PAC. So she is losing people because of some of her record as Secretary of State who don't like what's going on with Iran and Israel. So it'll be interesting to see how that shifts among the people who gave to her in 2008 and are now looking at Jeb
And
Bush.
also how far left she goes. I mean, if she goes further to the left,
what you say and what you do.
It's going to be an issue.
All right, guys, I want to thank you both very, very much. Enter Art Laffer, who was a big Clinton backer, not that Clinton. I'm talking about Bill Clinton. Art Laffer liked what he was doing on tax cuts and the rest, and a lot of you people associate with him he's just a Reaganite, a right-wing kook. He might very well be a right-wing kook, but I will tell you this: he is very pure when it comes to the simplicity of giving the government less and giving taxpayers more, whether you are the left or the right. I think that is the tonic. So, Mr. Laffer, I want to bring us to Hillary Clinton right now and her views that seem to repudiate her husband's views. What do you think?
Totally. I mean, they're totally the opposite right now. It's just the worst I've seen. But you got to watch her over the whole campaign, Neil. And they do change. Candidates change and change a lot. And I'm watching Hillary changing. I'm not expecting it, to be honest with you. And I don't like what she's saying on economics. But she could change. And, it all depends on how the responses go.
All right. Now, I don't envision her doing the kind of tax cuts. She's already intimated that with her capital gains hike proposal that would go in stages and tiers and using the government to sort of,
the worst thing I've ever seen. I mean, it's just incredibly bad.
Well, what then of the Republican candidates in the race, of the 478 candidates we have running, then who registers to you on economic issues that apparently are near and dear to most Americans?
What amazes me is all the candidates, all 478, are proposing strong pro-growth tax cuts, spending restraints, sound money, free trade, minimal regulations. I mean, I have never seen a group of candidates focusing on the right issues at the right time as these guys are, and it goes across the board. I mean, there are a couple of exceptions here and there, but bottom line, you've got one of the most impressive fields of Republican candidates I've seen, I mean, almost ever.
But are you ever worried, Art, that they're tripping over themselves to see who can offer the lowest taxes?
No.
You don't fear that they're
wonderful.
Sounding foolish.
Who can do the best job for America? Oh, my goodness. Wouldn't it be horrible if they all could do the best?
That's not what I said. Is there such a thing as over-cutting taxes? Is there such a thing as going too far? Okay.
Not on taxes today. I mean, you've got Rand Paul's tax thing, you've got Ted Cruz's, you've got Huckabee's, you've got Rick Perry's, you've got a lot of people.
Well, you work for Ronald Reagan. Who would Ronald Reagan like in this race? If you were to come back and talk to you, Art, who would he like?
I think Ronald Reagan probably would look at some of these candidates in different eyes than economics. But if it were just economics, I think there are a bunch of those candidates that they'd like very, very much.
Would he like Donald Trump?
Donald Trump has created a lot of excitement in this race, and he's done it just the way Teddy Roosevelt did.
That's not what I asked. Would he like Donald Trump?
I don't know. I think he would like Donald Trump. I mean, let me just tell you, our group in California, the Omanos Grees, the social set there were a lot of Donald Trumps around Reagan for many, many years, even after he became president. My godfather was a man named Justin Dart. We had Holmes Tuttle, Jack Rather, Bill French Smith, Bill Wilson. All of those people were very much in the mold of Donald Trump. They were very outspoken and very firm in their views. And by the way, they too changed their views, but they sure created the excitement. I think Reagan would like Donald Trump, yes.
Yeah, and he had quite a few CEOs, former CEOs, in his cabinet.
He sure did, and there's nothing wrong with being rich.
No.
And Donald Trump is proud of being rich, and that's so cool. You know, it's wonderful when someone makes it in this world. I mean, and it's not to be sneered at.
Well, he embraces it. He embraces it. If Mitt Romney had done that, as you and I have often said, I mean, it probably would not have been the problems he encountered. But well said, my friend. Very good seeing you again.
Well, thank you, Neil. It's a pleasure being with you.
All right, same here.